I think I got involved in men's work in 2005, and it helped me through a lot. It helped me through a lot of the daddy issues, the stuff that, which look, and I stopped there because just saying the term daddy issues, it's become cliche. It's like, oh, you got daddy issues? And we mock men who are wounded.
That's true.
It's like, what is that about? Like, why don't we lift each other up? They're saying a rising tide raises all ships in the harbor.
Yes.
Like, why don't we be that?
Right.
And
I'll tell you why though. Because, and this is what I think is so fascinating about like true, pure masculinity is, we have been socialized into thinking that a true man, a real masculine man, has no wounds or is not allowed to express them or show any sort of vulnerability or weakness or anything. But I think from your perspective, you would say otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely, I would say otherwise, and that's again the crisis of masculinity that we're facing right now. These other men's groups, great work, but there's, some groups that talk about it's like, oh, well, this is the new definition of the warrior. And they've kind of thrown out the baby with the bathwater. It's the abdication of all violence. No, there's a time and a place for that. If somebody is accosting my woman, I'm not going to hug it out with them. I'm going to stop them.
Right.
If someone is attacking my home, my family, my country, my values, right? Then I'm going to stand up against that. So, this whole super liberal, all inclusive, alphabet soup. Okay, I'm not going down that road, but for me, I looked at it and again, a lot of good work and I'm not against anybody. Mm-hmm. But how do you call yourself a warrior if you're so out of shape you get winded walking up a flight of stairs and couldn't fight your way out of a wet paper bag?
Right.
How can you claim the mantle of a warrior if your woman doesn't feel safe walking next to you down the street because you couldn't, or even worse, wouldn't defend her if the need arose?
Right.
So we saw the holes and we decided to do things differently. And we also saw a lot of talk soup, I would call it, because men, purging themselves of their problems and not doing anything to change it. It's just like, oh, you get to feel good because you can talk about it in a circle of men. But, in Ignite, we have our AAA of awareness, acknowledgement, and then action. Mm-hmm. Right? You have to be aware of the problem first.
Right.
Which means, I don't know how much language you could use on this show. But
just keep it real.
Yeah, but it's like you got to own your shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the acknowledgement. It's like I have to acknowledge what I've created in my life and the impact it's had on others. Yeah. And now I have to take action to do something about it.